this year. Lord, please. Appreciate everybody showing up here. We got a good group tonight. Okay, I'll have the clerk call roll, please.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Present.
Rich Magnus. Present. John Oath.
Present.
Brian Oswald.
Present.
Heath Kirkpatrick. Present. Joel Williams. Present. Dina Taylor.
This time I'll ask everybody to please stand and keep Kirkpatrick's leadership in prayer and remain standing for the pledge.
Let's pray. God, we just thank you so much for this wonderful city that we live in. God, thank you for the great year that we've had. And Lord, we just ask for your wisdom and guidance as you've placed us in these positions to lead and to be responsible to the citizens of Harrison. And God, we just thank you for these positions. We ask for the wisdom and guidance into this new year in 2018 that's coming up. And God, we just thank you for your goodness and grace over this city. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have with us tonight, I think, the leadership class from the Chamber of Commerce. Is that right, Patty?
Yes. Proud of them.
If it wasn't pressed for time tonight, I'd have y'all stand up and introduce yourself, but we appreciate y'all being here. Well, has everybody got the minutes from our meeting on November 9th? I'll entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second. I have a motion second to approve the minutes on November 9th. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion carried. Okay, we'll get in our department reports. Chief Woodard, do you have anything you want to bring to the table?
Only thing, Council wants it. Anything?
I think we're going to get into Mr. Phillips now. He's got, he said a 5-minute presentation. Okay.
Okay, well, we've had some development in our permitting issues at the wastewater plant over the last month, so it was a pretty good time to go ahead and update you guys and actually bring several of you up to speed on what's been going on for the last 5 years. Back in 2011, ADEQ published a document called a TMDL for Turkey Creek. TMDL stands for Total Max Daily Load. That had to do with minerals. And basically what that means is they decide the maximum number of pounds that creek can handle of whatever it is they're talking about in a day. And they use that to write regulations, permit limits for industries, cities on their treatment plants. We reviewed it, submitted comments, came to the conclusion that it was a bad thing for the city of Harrison, just to put it simply. We worked with some people, got a hearing down in Little Rock with a joint legislative committee, and we're able to get that TMDL tabled indefinitely. They can't get rid of it because it's an EPA requirement. At some point, they would have to do it. So, in January of 2012, the ADQ notified us that even though we did get that TMDL tabled, we're still going to put mineral limits in our wastewater plant. So, you know, it was partial success, but not completely. So, in March of 2012, we submitted our application to renew our wastewater plant permit. And then in April 2012, I came to City Council and we made the decision to start a process called third-party rulemaking, when the goal is to change the water quality standards on Turkey Creek. Essentially change Arkansas law and the federal application of the Clean Water Act. September 2012, our permit expired at the wastewater plant. We've been operating under an expired permit since then. It's not our fault or problem. We did all of our work. It's just the ADEQ allowed it to expire and chose not to issue one until we got through with third-party rulemaking. So, why minerals matter? When I talk about minerals from a regulatory standpoint, and especially from our perspective here at the City of Harrison, I'm talking about TDS, which is total dissolved solids, chlorides and sulfates. Chlorides and sulfates are basically salts. TDS is pretty much anything that's dissolved in the water. It's mostly naturally occurring, but also it comes from runoff, road salting, and then also another source is discharge from wastewater plants. It's not necessarily a pollutant until levels get really high, and usually when you see really high levels, that's caused by humans in some way. What we were looking at back in 2012 was an expected limit of 200 milligrams per liter for TDS and 20 milligrams per liter for both chlorides and sulfates. Just to put that in perspective, on TDS, the secondary drinking water standard is 500 milligrams per liter. So, from a regulatory standpoint, we were going to have to treat water to put back into Crooked Creek to a level that's a lot better than what we send down pipes to for people to drink. Didn't make much sense, but that's the way the regs were written. That TMDL that we were able to table, if it had passed, it probably would have resulted in even lower limits than those. There is absolutely no way that our treatment plant could have met those requirements. It would have required a very advanced treatment facility. You're looking at things like reverse osmosis, carbon filtration, distillation, stuff that doesn't necessarily work. It's not very financially feasible on large scale applications like wastewater treatment. I mean, really the only thing that we probably could have gone to would have been a reverse osmosis type plant. So, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at as far as costs, $6+ million capital cost to build the new plant, plus our annual operating costs would go up by sixfold. Needless to say, that would have resulted in rates skyrocketing. That's, you can bond the capital improvements and stretch that over time, but when you're looking at operating costs go up that much, there's not much you can do. A lot of that increased operating costs had to do with actually disposal of a brine solution that would be created from removing the minerals. So, we started third-party rulemaking. As I said, basically the goal was to change the standards on Crooked Creek. And so it had two primary components, the technical part, which is then followed by the legal part. Technical was, we did a whole bunch of studies that resulted in what's called a use of attainability analysis. And then legally, that's when we get into the actual rulemaking and dealing with the Arkansas Pollution Control and Ecology Commission. And then we had to deal with the governor's office, state legislature, and then everything eventually goes to the EPA at the federal level. We selected FTN Associates as our environmental consultant and Mitchell Williams as our legal representation on this process. So in summer of 2012, the studies began. We submitted the UAA to the ADEQ in August of 2013. And I say up there for the next 2 years, it was under ADEQ review. I'm not sure they were reviewing it the whole time, but I made a few jokes about Little Rock being a black hole where things go to disappear over that time. But it took quite a while to get to the point in August of 2015 where we were actually able to file the petition to initiate the rulemaking. So the next few months after that, we went through public comment, public hearings, legislative reviews. Everything went pretty well. We had a few groups that were concerned, but we met with them ahead of time. We're open, let them know what we were doing, why we were doing it, and they seemed to agree and were okay with it. So after that, we went into more ADEQ review and comments and back and forth, some negotiating, disagreements, things like that. Took us a while to get through it. And then finally, in January of this year, the Arkansas Pollution Control and Ecology Commission adopted the rulemaking. So that effectively made it approved from an Arkansas law standpoint, which was good. That was a major milestone. And then it went to the EPA and was there for several months. And we just received a couple weeks ago the actual approval letter from the EPA that they had approved it. It was a very convoluted letter that had a lot of language that concerned us, but after reviewing it with our attorneys quite a bit, we're confident that we're in good shape. They put some language in there that's not good for some other cities that are going through this. The minerals issues become pretty significant in Arkansas and how the regs were originally written. So several cities and industries are going through this process. We're the first to get through. Kind of as our attorney explained it on a conference call we had about a week ago, said there's a whole bunch of rabbits trying to get across the road. And right now we're the only ones that made it. So it's a good thing. Going forward, we should not have mineral limits in our next permit. The permitting process has restarted. We've already started conversations with ADQ. We are going to have to stay diligent to make sure that they don't, I don't like to put it this way, to make sure they don't slip something in there that catches us off guard. We're going to retain our legal counsel and our environmental consultants until we get through the permitting process, and hopefully we'll have that done within a few months and we'll actually be operating under a current permit again. So, that's our total cost that we've spent on this since 2012. That's a significant amount of money. I can tell you Fayetteville's well over $500,000 into the process and they're not done yet. So, I wish we didn't have to spend it, but unfortunately it was necessary. And this cost will go up because we've still got to get through the permitting process, and one of the negotiations that took place resulted in us having to agree to fund a gauging station on Cricket Creek to measure flow for the next, we got about 4 more years left, and that's several $1,000s a year that we have to fund through the wastewater plant. But I did want to show you what the cost would have been had we not gone through this process, or the liability that we would have been facing. We would have been building a new wastewater plant in 2014 to get ready for those permits to go into effect. And then those would be the 2015, 16, and 17 numbers, increased operating costs that we would have faced as a wastewater plant. So I'm not going to say we've saved that money, but we've taken that liability off the books. And there's no way we could have financially done that, but that's what we were facing. With that, anybody have any questions? I went through a lot of that quickly, and there's a lot more to it, but
Well, Wade, you know what I've told you? I said, you need to give yourself a pat on the back on this deal.
fortunately we had a good team. The legal team that we ended up going with was top notch, and we made a few decisions early on. One thing that Yellville was included with this UA with us, and it gave us a little bit more political capital, having another city, another mayor, another council. It's in another county, so you got another county judge, another point of court, just different, more political capital that you can pull on to get this through, and that helped quite a bit. That's all I have on that. Let's have any questions.
Why were the 2 years, if you go, Jeff, you go back a slide, why were the two, why was 2016 so low compared to the other years?
A lot of waiting.
Gotcha.
Mainly in 2016, that was where our attorneys and environmental people were responding to questions and comments, and then that really wasn't even much of that number. That's when we started paying for the gauging station on the creek as well. So, but yeah, that was just almost a dead year as far as this process went.
Okay.
The other item that I had on the agenda for an update was the Planning Commission asked me to give you just a brief update of some things that they've been working on. They are going through a full review and overhaul of our zoning code and our subdivision code. And with that, there will also be a redevelopment of our master street plan. They will be meeting next month to go over any final changes that they would like to make. So the final drafts can be prepared, and it's expected that public hearings will take place in February. So it's likely in March or possibly as late as April, we will be bringing new codes to the council for approval. And I kind of wanted to put that out in a public meeting so people know that we're working on it. We don't get too many people showing up for planning commission meetings. So, anybody have any questions about that specifically right now? We'll put out a lot more information once the planning commission is done with it. But if there's any immediate concerns, I'd be happy to address those.
Those changes, what's driving those updates? Just age of,
Age of the documents, the current zoning and subdivision codes are a decade old. And just over the years, there's been issues that pop up the code doesn't address very well, but there's a lot of interpretation that's required. So a lot of this is to clean those issues up and, in a way, streamline some of the approval processes on our end. Help me and my staff out.
It'll help Wade Department tremendously going forward with a lot of growth and everything else, and growth, which we're going to have to address here shortly. So, but there has been, other than Wade, Boyd Baltimore and Pat Brown on the Planning Commission spent a lot of time on this. I want to give them a little attaboys too, because they really worked on this.
They did. They were I guess, the subcommittee of the planning commission was put together, and they threw me in there to help them. I'm the note taker and the typer, I guess, on that.
Well, it's probably thicker than that, but we will probably give you all, whenever the planning commission pushes it through. It's thick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got it, don't you? But anyway, I'd advise everybody reading it. It's going to help our city in the future, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Chief Holt, you have anything you want to bring to the table?
No.
Everybody watch the fireplaces.
We did have flu fire last night,
Yeah.
so that's cold weather. We start having flu fires, so be careful. Space heater is a no-no. They get hot. Don't love fire, just go with it. Be careful.
Okay, Mr. Fiker, you're up.
All right, I don't know that we've talked much and how much we can talk about our audit from 2016, but we did have our final exit conference a couple weeks ago, two or 3 weeks ago. We had two comments, two actual writable, reportable comments. One being our disaster recovery plan. Was that this year?
No.
Was that last year? It's all run together at this point. But we only had two of them. That's the least that we've had since I've been here. We did have some supplemental ones that we've addressed already. And the moving over of the new accounting software helped solves about 10 of those. So that was good to kind of get those out of the way. But one of the cleanest audits, again, the goal is to get cleaner and cleaner every year, and we've done that. So been really happy with the way that's went. Hopefully next year we can get it done in May instead of December. So.
Well, Luke went through a lot down there this year in finance. When you change programs, and he's had to work off two separate programs this whole year, and that's not good. Next year going forward, his job, well, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but it'll sure help.
This means I get to look at more stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you haven't been in his office, you can't see him anymore. He has 4 screens up there. I just got one little old bitty one in my office, and here he's got 4 big screens up there. But the accountant needs those screens, believe it or not.
It's nice when the girls come in I'm working on something else, so I don't have to switch back and forth, so. I just wrapped up November financials right before we came in. I apologize, it's taken me a little bit longer these last few months to get these out. Like I said, we're kind of working off two different systems. It's been a little longer than I would have liked, and we still got year-end payroll to go. But once we get through that, hopefully it'll get a little bit quicker. You can see the general fund has a whopping $758 surplus at the end of this month. I didn't want to actually give you all the financials right now because it would have been just a bunch of printing at this point. And I'm still reviewing. That's what I've been doing while Wade's been up there talking to make sure that everything is correct in what I'm seeing. So we do have a budget deficit of over $13,000 for the next month. Depending on what you all decide tonight, there's potential for a server upgrade for about $30,000. And we got our first pay estimate on the lake, I believe today or yesterday. It's going to be $173,000 that will hit the general fund before year's end. So I didn't want you guys to be shocked if you came in. And right now it's at $758, and next month it's $200,000 deficit. So.
That's the second screen you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that third and fourth monitor costs quite a bit. We're still over $3 million in approximately 6 months on our reserves. Good place to be at for general fund. Water and sewer fund, I've been searching all over on why it was a net loss of $400,000 last month and $250,000 this month. Still haven't figured it out. Everything looks like it's up to date. So with those additional ESG payments and pipe bursting in there, that $250,000 looks pretty good. Street fund, it's still doing well. Surplus actually went up a little bit, I believe. Cash reserve is still up there. Fire fund, pretty good when you're breaking even, especially with the $100,000 fire truck payment that we have in there as well. And the surplus for the police fund, excuse me, we do have a new police car, I believe, that's going to have to come out of that, just with some insurance reimbursement and having a new actual cost of another car there. So about $30,000 knocked off of that at the end of the year. But overall, we're doing a lot better. Everything's kind of ticking along. Nothing really out of the ordinary that I can think of that's going to be hitting us. So next month should be a decent month with revenues. Kind of see how sales tax comes in. Mainly in January, whenever you're talking about November and December sales, you'll see that in January and February. So we'll hopefully really see what Amazon did to us in January. So
What's the balance left on the fire trucks?
oh,
Paid
it
off in
is.
March, 54 or something. What is it? May, was it May?
March.
No, March is our last payment.
March is our last payment.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think we're just over the I think we pay about $54,000. It's just a little bit over that that's left due.
We should have them paid off in March.
You start building his fund back for another.
Yeah.
You guys
We
have
don't
any-
want this, don't want these to get to be 17 years old before we replace them.
Well, we still need to replace the one that we've got right now, that's a 96 model, I believe. Still. We're trying to get rid of those. Maybe later this year, first next.
You may have any questions. I know you're seeing this for the first time, but any questions on where we're going?
As soon as he gets the total, good document out to everybody. Any question for Luke?
On that deficit, like I say, right now, that doesn't include the 173 and 30, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Wilson, you're up.
Well, the last committee meetings, if anyone had any additional questions that they maybe had about the folks and why folks on there and everything.
He brought up he's gone out for bids, and to be above board with these bids, we need to do a waiver, bid waiver on his IT program. So we brought that with me.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid waiver for the server purchase.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the bid waiver on the purchase of Lightspeed, and I have a second. Any further discussion on this?
I think that all the information that you presented, David, that's obviously the best choice for us, so I don't see any issues with it. And the warranty, having warranty on backup.
He did a lot of research on this, so.
And I'm looking forward to Luke and David being able to work with equipment that's up to date, software that's up to date. I think that'll surely help the city's processing and our efficiency.
Positive step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
One thing that he has already helped me do is I don't know that everybody, all the department heads have it now, but they have access to real-time data as far as their accounts go and how much they have left in their budget.
And 4 screens for the accounting.
Long time down.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all in favor by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carried. David, you get those ordered. I still say ever since, it's unbelievable. I don't know what we did before we had David, but I think he's sabotaging our equipment. Because he has to run every place all the time, and something breaking down seems like, but I guess it did before, and we just called somebody else, but we
That's
appreciate
why
it.
you call them people
Yeah.
from Branson.
Yeah.
That's the David virus.
All right, do you have anything else you want to bring up, Mr. Wilson?
No, sir. Thank you.
Chuck is not here and Shonda's not here tonight, so we're going to move on down to committees. We really didn't put anything in the committees, so I'm going to, unless somebody's got something in their committee they want to bring up, I'll move on, way on down into ordinances. Anybody want, any members, council members want to bring anything up? Okay, I will move on down to the ordinance and resolution, and we have several of those. First being the budget resolution. Hope y'all looking, I haven't gotten any more calls on it, so
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget resolution 2018.
second that. I have a motion and a second to approve the 2018 budget. Any discussion?
It's, again, my comments in committee, this is the cleanest budget that Luke's been able to prepare for the city. It's always, my wish to get it to a balanced budget. I understand the conservative nature of the revenues, and I know that in 2 successive months last year when I was reviewing that, made the comments that we all of a sudden had revenue drop in those months, so it proved against me in those points. So I would like to see it's odd, I listened to a county forum report for Washington County earlier today on my drive back into town, and heard them discussing their budget deficit and their attempts to solve those problems. But like I said, I'd like to see us at some point in the future get to a balanced budget. Given that, this is the best budget in the 3 years I've sat on the city council, and the cleanest and probably the most representative. So that's my only comment, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments or discussion? There being none, all in favor by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Okay. I know a lot of you aren't familiar with actually the tax program, but Mrs. Methvin presented at committee meetings, and I do think we have a representative here from West Rock. Yes, sir.
Jimmy
Okay.
Wolf.
Okay, good. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
But anybody got any questions on this tax back program? Okay, I will entertain motion approving the tax back resolution.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. Also, we have a opioids resolution, and we passed, well, actually, I had signed a document and sent to the state municipal league, and they are processing that at this time. But this resolution is something we can send on. Has everybody got a copy of this resolution?
Oh, yeah, right.
Clean that aisle too.
Just go ahead and give it back, we can get it.
I'm sorry.
You got something you want to say about it? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll make it.
I have a motion to adopt, do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Okay, any discussion on this resolution?
This is through the municipal league. You were going, I think you were telling us, you were going to tell us how many communities have signed that.
Well, I haven't gotten it back from them yet. They're actually waiting on this too, but the process has been going from that last document I sent them. It's ongoing right now, so, any further discussion on this resolution? There being none, all in favor by aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you, ladies.
That's all right.
We can get it as long as nobody slips on it. We'll send Ryan the bill. Okay. Okay, we have the Carroll Boone Water Ordinance, and after talking to Mr. Jonas on this ordinance, we're probably going to have a public hearing on this, but you think we can go ahead and put it on the first reading before we have that public hearing?
Yes, we can, if we're authorized by code.
Okay. And this is at 5 cents per thousand pass-through that we were getting charged. Yeah, I have.
I would recommend that it be put on its first reading tonight. I don't know when Wade was wanting to put this into effect. I was thinking that we wanted to make it effective, at least to start billing for January 1. Well,
We figured out.
if we pass it tonight, we start the process because the code specifically authorizes the passing of the ordinance, then having the public hearing, and then doing the final second and third reading. So anyway, I would recommend passing it tonight on the first reading. And we'll go from there. I have a newspaper notice already being published to deal with the public hearing at 6 o'clock, January the 10th, when we have our committee meetings, I believe. 11. Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday, 11. At 6 o'clock, there'll be a public hearing.
First reading would be recommended.
Make a motion to place it on its first reading
By title only.
by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to place on first reading by title only. Any discussion?
Who's second?
Okay, this being an ordinance, I'll have to have the clerk call the roll, please.
Discussion,
Oh, yeah, I have it.
you asked for it, but then you asked a question. Again, these rates are being passed to us by Carroll Ferguson. And so we'll either have to absorb those costs or pass them on. Just making that point, so it's in a minute.
Well, actually, Wade did figure it up shorthand today, and we're averaging, about 2,500,000 usage a day, and it would cost us about 3,300 a month. So, that's not much. But even though we don't enact it till February, March, we're not gonna lose absorption on that money. Any further discussion? There being none, clerk call the roll, please.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Yes.
Mitch Magnus.
Yes.
John Ove.
Yes.
Ryan Oswald.
Yes.
Keith Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Joe Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
An ordinance amending City Code Section 10.04.01 to increase water billing rates by 5 cents per 1,000 gallons used.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, since we're not going to do that, go on with that one, we'll go on down to the dog ordinance. And everybody knows the reasoning why we're having, well, these next two ordinances, the business license ordinance and the dog ordinance. The reason we're having to do this is because we're actually breaking the law. So we don't want to do that, so I'll put, is this one reading by any chance?
This needs to be a 3 read.
3 reads, okay. Okay. I'll entertain a motion, put it on first reading by title only.
I make a motion, we place the ordinance to repeal the dog ordinance.
Second.
First reading by title only.
Sorry, second.
Yes, second. Any discussion?
Covenant.
There being no discussion, I'll have clerk call the roll, please.
Mitch Magnus.
Yes.
John Ove.
Yes.
Ryan Oswald.
Yes.
Keith Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Joe Williams.
Yes.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rule and place it on second, third reading. Oh, sorry.
An ordinance repealing and vacating ordinance number 1406 concerning dog licenses in the city of Harrison.
Now,
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to place it on second, third reading.
suspend the rules, please.
Suspend the rules, place it on second, third reading
By title only.
by title only.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? There being none, I'll have clerk call the roll again, please.
John Ove.
Yes.
Ryan Oswald.
Yes.
Keith Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Joe Williams.
Yes.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Yes.
Mitch Magnus.
Yes.
Motion passes.
An ordinance repealing and vacating ordinance number 1406 concerning dog licenses and fees in the city of Harrison.
Okay, entertain a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second for adoption. All in favor by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Enact emergency clause. Entertain a motion to enact emergency clause.
So moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Enact emergency clause. All in favor by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Thank you all. I don't have all that stuff in front of me anymore, Dan. Do I? Okay, we're going to the business license and after we go through all this, I got something to say about both of these ordinances that we're actually repealing. So I'll entertain a motion to repeal the business license and put it on its first reading by
Make a
title.
motion to approve the repeal of the business ordinance, place it on its first reading by title only.
Second. Did we get it right that
Well,
time?
you're doing good. You're doing good. Okay, any discussion? There being no discussion, I have the clerk call the roll, please.
Ryan Oswald.
Yes.
Keith Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Joe Williams.
Yes.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Yes.
Mitch Magnus.
Yes.
John Oates.
Yes.
Motion passes.
An ordinance repealing and vacating ordinance number 1337 concerning business licenses in the city of Harrison, Arkansas.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like, if you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, place it on its second and third reading by title only.
Boy, I'm glad y'all.
You're getting
You're
good.
good. Okay, I have a motion to place, suspend the rule and place on the second and third reading by title only. Any discussion? There being none, I'll have the clerk call the roll, please.
Keith Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Joe Williams.
Yes.
Mary Jean Krieger.
Yes.
Mitch Magnus.
Yes.
John Oates.
Yes.
Ryan Oswald.
Yes.
Motion passes.
An ordinance repealing and vacating ordinance number 1337 concerning business licenses in the city of Harrison, Arkansas.
Entertain a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second for adoption. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. I'll entertain a motion for the emergency clause.
So moved.
Have a motion second to adopt the emergency clause. All in favor by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Thank you. I think Dina and Mary Jean, are you all gonna start on a new dog ordinance? But
I gave Mr. Jonas a copy of one, and he has checked that out and said it really wasn't what we needed, but he is researching some for us. Dina has not contacted me, but I did furnish her with a copy of the federal.
Well, that's something we're probably gonna have to get on, even though we still have an old ordinance in place. We're probably gonna have to get on to that, but,
Well,
that and the business license, I wanna go out a little bit more on the business license and get some things in the fire department. We're probably gonna incorporate maybe in our business license deal when we go forward, some pennant rules or something like that maybe. But, that we'll bring to the table hopefully by February or March. And we'll start working on all those things. I don't wanna, I don't really like that we're having to charge people for business license, and Mr. Jonas kinda came to me and said a one-time fee. I like that. I don't know if anybody else does that, one-time lifetime fee. But that's something we're going to put on the table and we'll have to think about going forward.
Well, Mr. Mayor, given that funding was the issue that caused both of these to be repealed, as long as there can be some mechanism that we can get the information without having that funding, I think that's, I think both Chief Holt and the Chamber have expressed that information is vital, and even Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
so when they do have a fire, well, they know who to contact.
That, and they know what's in that building.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on down into the wellness equipment. I think Mr. Fiker wants to kind of approach this. I did mention last time that we'd do a survey, and our survey came back of employees, and we had 73 people that said they would use the equipment and or gym, and 35 said no. So that's how the survey came back. Luke, are you wanting to address it any further? That was a $2,000. This equipment Who's selling this here? Yeah, Mike Nutt is selling this. And he's offered the city a good price on it. I went out and looked at it. Well, actually, several people with the wellness program went out and looked at it. It's a lot of equipment.
I have a question. Will the city have any liability if someone gets hurt? Because you said there would be no charge and no supervision there. And will the city have any liability if someone gets hurt?
Generally, no.
General.
City activities have sovereign immunity,
Okay.
governmental immunity.
I just wanted to be sure on that.
But
Since
Make
it's
it
being
flat,
housed
yeah.
off
It's
out
a-
of this city market.
we come up with kind of, won't you kind of explain, I could go into it, but kind of want to explain how we approached it and how going forward we want to do this and everything out there.
Sure. Well, we were looking for something to start out with that would kind of a benefit for the employees on this wellness program. We really feel like having just a place in and of itself is going to be very beneficial to go work out. Besides the free weights that you see here, there are other pieces of equipment that will not be city-owned, but we have been allowed to use. As you can see, the weight benches there and other free weights is what we would be purchasing for the $2,000. Just scrolling through some pictures now. Several different benches. The free weights alone are probably worth more than the $2,000. Somebody had mentioned, I believe, it might have been Art, that it was to buy it new would be $1 a pound, and there's several thousands of pounds out there. Obviously, even we're not buying it new, but it's still worth the dollar amount we feel to not only purchase the equipment, but just have the option for the employees to have some place to go and work out. And that's probably worth more than the actual equipment itself, in my opinion, and the wellness program's opinion, that they just have some place to go free of charge, and it's heated, it's not cooled, but just a place for them to go and do any kind of physical activity that they would need to do. There are certain times that it will not be available, I believe, although those will hopefully be limited. Yeah.
Will city employees, the city employees be allowed to use it?
The way we were approaching it, we said that the city employee and family should be able to use it with adult supervision. We do not want any children in there unsupervised. And if they are, we have the option to revoke their privileges or limit their privileges. It is done through an access card, and that can be shut off at any time to where they're not allowed in that facility.
My basis for the question is part of our reason for this wellness program, encouraging city employees to use equipment like this or to get healthy, includes their families, and we're looking at insurance costs. So I would assume that we would give them that same opportunity.
We are giving them, but a 16-year-old can't just go out there.
Understood.
Yeah. So, but they will be other people actually using this equipment too. Where the city's probably not going to be, because it's in an open area, and they have other equipment there, and people are going to use that equipment also. So I guess we will have access to actually more equipment than what's shown here, believe it or not. And after I went up there and looked at it, pretty good setup.
Is this going to be open? I thought you said they would have to have an access card.
They will. But
That
other
does-
people also have an access to it too.
That's what I wanted clarification
Yes,
on.
yeah, because there's already gym equipment set up. There's already other equipment set up.
Seeing Marvin's not going, so.
Big brief.
Okay, any further?
One other question. Essentially, we're in competition, we're subsidizing a function here against businesses in town.
That's right.
The only point I would make is if a gymnasium, a fitness center here in town wants to give city employees some sort of discount, because obviously this is a discount for us, correct?
No, well, actually, it's a benefit.
What I'm saying is, so
Yeah.
we're allowing somebody to use something for free, but they might have to pay $25 or $35 or $50 a month somewhere else
We're going in competition with private.
with a private business.
That's somewhat true.
Again, we have a specific reason, and what we're hoping for is to see the cost to the city go down. All right?
Save the taxpayers
Save the
money.
taxpayers money.
Any further discussion? Okay, there being none, I'd entertain a motion to purchase this expenditure for $2,000.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, there is a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Now we'll go into discussion again. Any further discussion on this?
Well, bringing up your point, I'd be curious if the 73 members that surveyed said, yes, I'll use it, how many of them currently have a gym membership in the local gym?
Well, I think we didn't put that question on there.
We did not. There are a few, the ones that I've talked to that do have said they will not quit their membership. They do theirs more for aerobic exercise, the ones that I've talked to, than free weights and other. That's just a few of them, though. That's not.
But are the other gym owners in town, are they aware of this?
We have not
Of our-
contacted them.
No, we don't. No.
We did contact a few, and they were not willing to give us any type of discount.
Yeah.
Well,
This is kind of a business deal for the city in the long run, because it's going to help them out.
Well,
I mean, just like my guy,
I'm thinking
we
that
have,
we're creating a competition against
we
a
have
private
a
industry.
lot of weights and stuff ourselves, the fire department. A lot of my guys agreed to go, they signed, said yes, because of some different equipment, that they could go work out in different ways, with the cardio and all that stuff too. So, I think it would be a benefit for the city if it helped us for our insurance rate, healthy.
Well, again, one of my comments would be that it's difficult to ask the city employees to go through a wellness program when we have an opportunity to provide them with additional equipment, an opportunity to get healthy, and then not support it. So,
My only other comment would be, is there an age limit that we disallow our kids of
Are you
certain
looking at
ages?
me?
I'm going to be
You said age limit. Yeah, I don't know.
I might can address some of that, because the volleyball club that owns it, that has the other equipment that's being shared with the city, is we require anyone under 18 to be accompanied by a parent. Because we don't want it to be a hangout for kids, just to go hang out. And we want to make sure the kids are using the equipment properly and not tearing anything up.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, if you all do approve this, we will take it back to the wellness committee. They will make rules and regulations and to this, and we'll bring that back to you all too, to see those rules and regulations.
well, there won't be many 14 or 15-year-olds there with their parents, I guarantee.
Well, no, but he said it's their age now, and I thought maybe it's.
I just don't want a 3-year-old running around for a year longer.
We actually have more parents than we do the 14 and 15.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that, but like I say, if I know 14 and 15-year-olds, none of my kids or grandkids would be with me, I guarantee. Anyway.
We're getting input right back here.
Okay, any further discussion on this? I have a motion on the table and a second. All those in favor by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Thank you. Luke, you can take that to the wellness committee.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving down into new business tonight, and first thing on that is the Bobcat Inland proposal for the CPI increase. We have Keith.
just so you guys knew, I included on the slides their numbers from their increased expenses, and then also how that reflects in the average user cost. So I've got those numbers if you want to toggle back and forth or anything, but to put them on one screen made it pretty small.
And again, the CPI increase was 6% since our last request to the council. We're not asking for 6%. We're asking for a 3% increase.
Anybody got any questions for Mr. Richardson?
Go back to that other screen for just a minute, please. Okay, have you changed where you are hauling it to now?
When you say-
That is reflecting in this increase.
When you say it, on the tipping fee increase, we are now, we're no longer hauling waste to Taney County. We are now hauling it locally in town to meth and sanitation. On the recycling, we are still using the same vendor. In the past, and when I say past, prior to, I believe, November the 22nd, we were allowed to haul the recycling there at no charge. The recycling facility has now said that it's going to be $39 a ton. And I think last year, I want to say that we hauled 817 tons of recycling material.
That's what you put out?
I think so.
Yeah, a little over 800 tons.
So, where in the past, if there was no charge, it's gone up $39 a ton, basically.
By the contract, they can come and ask annually for a CPI increase. It's up to the council if they give it or not. They have not asked for 3 years. That's more or less where that sits. But it's a council decision, and that's also in the contract. It's up to y'all to make a decision.
It's difficult for me to balance the history that we've had over the last couple of years with an increase at this time, yet I do know that with the cost increase that you have to have had happen, that it's difficult to continue to provide upgraded service on the same revenue. I had mentioned to one other council member that I was somewhat disappointed with the level of response that I had from the public. Normally, we get more input to help us to make a decision. And many times, even though I may disagree with the individuals calling me, I do the will of the people. Because the citizens are what matter. And like I say, in this case, I was really disappointed with the level of response. And I don't know if it was just that this is now on the back burner, but I sure wish we could have gotten more, heard more from our constituents in regard to this. Like I say, what limited amount that I got was more, don't raise anything. They didn't want water rates to go up or anything else. But like I said, that's where I'm at with this.
We've had one call in our office against it. Actually, believe it or not, we've had 2 or 3 calls and they're doing a good job, so.
Yeah, but nobody called and said, hey, raise my
No,
rate.
nobody said that.
Nobody said that. Yeah, I can promise you. I didn't get any of those calls either.
Yeah. But, like I say, they have improved, but is it 3-year improvement off the looks? I can't say that.
And well, again, we've had a good quarter. There's a lot of individuals, a lot of taxpayers, a lot of citizens still upset. And it's as though we're rewarding them at this point for simply fixing their problem. But again, you have to balance that off at 1% a year as to whether or not, if we don't give them that, the level of service would drop, because we already know that there's equipment issues in the past. And if they can't repair that equipment, that's a difference. That would make a difference. One of the comments I think that Bob made was that you all are planning on bringing some more equipment in online here.
Yes, sir. There's a new ASL, one of the automated side load trucks that will be purchased this year for the Harrison location. I'm hoping that it's here in April. When you purchase large pieces of equipment like that, sometimes it takes a little longer to get here.
Kind of like fire trucks.
Right.
Will that be in addition to the current equipment, or will it just replace something?
We will retire one.
Is this going to be new equipment or already?
Should be 2017, 2018 model.
If we were just moved it.
No, ma'am. It would be a
Facility to
new
facility.
vehicle.
Any other questions? I'll leave it at the council's wish.
Thank you, Councilor.
If nobody wants to do anything, I can entertain this motion to table.
I think that'd be a wise idea to where the citizens are more aware of its increase, maybe with Christmas and the holidays, they've kind of.
Are you making that motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? That motion dies on the table. So, there being nothing further on that matter, we'll move on. Okay. We'll move to the council report, and we have, other than Mr. Art Swanson and Mr. Chris Head, is there anybody else that's come tonight to the council that wants to apply for that appointment? Okay, there being none, I will leave it to the council for appointment. Does anybody want to ask any questions of the two gentlemen that applied for the appointment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that appointment, or a motion to go into.
I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
Okay, I have a motion to go into executive section and a second. There'll be no discussion on that. All in favor by aye? Aye. All opposed, same. Okay, we will go into the mayor's office.
Is it warm?
I'll call the meeting back to order, please. We just left the executive session, so, I'll entertain a motion for appointment.
Move that we accept Chris Head to the position of city council by acclamation.
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion for Mr. Chris Head's appointment to the city council by acclamation. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor by aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Mr. Chris Head, you're a new council member.
Thank you.
I will, this time, swear you in.
Swear at him or
And you'll get another nameplate like Mr. John Oaks got over there, it's made out of paper. We're having to change our vendors.
Well, that'll save the taxpayers.
Oh, yes. Okay, if you raise your right hand, please. I, Chris Head,
I, Chris Head,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of council member, Ward 1, Position 1,
and that I will faithfully execute the position
Discharge.
of council member position 1, Ward 1,
upon which now I'm about to enter.
upon which now I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You can take
here's
seat.
your chair. Yeah, he's got that.
All right, we appreciate you too.
Absolutely. And I will say, I made this comment in executive session, Mr. Head, Mr. Swanson, whichever one of you got this position, you have some big shoes to fill in Mr. Brian Herring. He has been an outstanding council member.
Okay, thank y'all. We'll move on down into my comments. Okay, next month, I will not be here for committee meetings. I will be in a municipal meeting in Fort Smith. So, in that meeting, you all need to do this organizational deal. We have 2 new council members. You may want to change the organization around in committees, and people switch members. We have to do this every year, so that meeting, you need to make those discussions. I will put it on the agenda, so be thinking about that. Of course, Dina or Jeff, I told Dina today, she's sick, but she'd be running that meeting. But organization, the pro tem actually does it anyway, so that worked out. Also, next month, we'll be rolling out a new program that's coming from the state. Well, you want to roll it out while I was gone? I said, no, we're not rolling that out while I'm gone. So at the council meeting, somebody bring biscuits and gravy at the next council meeting. But it'd be great for our city. Also, this last month, I received a notification from Safe Cities that the city of Harrison was listed in the state of Arkansas as the 18th safest city. So that's a good thing, and I congratulate especially our police and fire department on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When y'all came in, you saw the financial statement there. Those have to be turned in by January 31st to Mr. Pratt, or you're going to get a big slap in the face from the Ethics Commission. So he put those out there. Actually, you know, if you fill them out before,
Yeah, but
they're
we
not too hard.
forget.
Pardon?
We forget how to do it.
Well, you know what I did to get a copy of my last one. See,
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
ditto it. But anyway.
You didn't attach that with mine.
I figured you did it all right.
Okay, at this time I'll open up to council members if they have anything to address. Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Anybody that's sitting out? I see a lot of people left.
I had to do it.
Oh, here it comes.
One quick question, when you guys killed the permit, business permits, you said that it was done under a legal action. why is the business owners not getting refunded for illegal action? I mean,
It's done at the end of the year. It was a process that was illegal, not the act itself. It's just the way we had it set up for collection.
So you were giving it over to the chamber, and it was brought up at the day the chamber took it over so many years the same way. So I just curious.
Yeah, we just got hit on it, so.
All right, not a problem. Happy New Year's, guys.
Thank you.
We want to know how many light bulbs you bought.
Oh my God.
Well,
20, we actually put up 24,552 bulbs.
Right. I have been getting phone calls, believe it or not, after Christmas on how good downtown looked, and I'll give you all another attaboy. But the only thing is, we expect bad air.
I'll be back for money.
Okay, is anybody else in the audience? Anything? Okay, at this time, I wish everybody a happy new year, be safe. We're gonna go next year, and it's gonna be a lot, actually, at this table next year. Got a lot of things gonna be brought to this table. But happy,
You still want this?
happy new year, and I'll entertain a motion now for adjournment. Have a motion.
Second.
In a second. Hey, you're stepping right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, stay here. Thank y'all.